A whisper in the bay transforms into a tidal wave threatening to reshape the Warriors. Very blueprint for championship glory, can the sharpshooting son of Splash finally don the Golden State blue and gold, rekindling that pulse-pounding hunger that once defined an era? Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with Splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. The summer-simmering saga in Golden State has been a masterclass in patient tension. With no official additions, yet setting the Chase Center ablaze yet beneath the surface. Front office chess games between Mike Dunleavy Jr. and Joe Lacob are locked in a high-stakes dance, trying to unlock the next puzzle piece that could either thrust the Warriors back into the war zone of title contention or leave us yearning for the redemption of the Curry-led dominance we once reveled in. Central to this off-season's mystery, Jonathan Kuminga's unrestricted free agency. A Rubik's Cube we've all been watching twist and turn relentlessly, threatening to unravel or renew the core's future. But here's the under-the-radar bomb no one saw coming. According to ESPN's own Anthony Slater, the Warriors and Seth Curry, the sharpshooting veteran and younger brother of Steph, share a tantalizing mutual interest, a phrase loaded with more promise than just a handshake. Imagine the electrifying possibility of reuniting the Curry brothers under the same banner, a reunion ripe with not only family ties, but a floodgate of on-court chemistry that could elevate Steve Kerr's bench from reliable to downright lethal. They want some extra shooting, Slater noted on NBA Today, and Seth coming off a gritty 68-game campaign with the Charlotte Hornets, where he averaged a modest 6.5 points and 1.7 boards, is more than just a role player. His shooting splits? That's where the story truly ignites the imagination. An eye-popping 45.6% from deep on nearly 3 attempts per game, paired with an efficient 50.3% from inside the arc. That's a floor-spacing weapon forged in the crucible of NBA defenses. A player who can pull opposing units apart and resurrect the Warriors, trademark space and pace mojo from the days when the Splash Brothers tore through the league like a tidal wave. And consider the strategic underpinnings. Seth might be available on a minimum deal, a cost-controlled asset that grants the Warriors the kind of breathing room so precious in today's salary cap labyrinth. Yet, this brush with destiny isn't. Without its twists, rumors, swirl of competition across the league for Seth's sharpshooting prowess, leaving Dub Nation on a knife edge. Could this be the watershed moment the Warriors need not just for bench scoring, but as a psychological catalyst that deepens the bench's DNA, blending veteran savvy with the still young firepower from Kuminga and Moses Moody? Is this another chapter in the ongoing We Believe Spirit One that reminds us of the scrappy underdogs who defied the odds and cemented a legacy that burned brighter than any summer sun? Or does it hint at yet another gamble, a move that might finally push the Warriors over the edge or risk diluting their delicate championship chemistry? What emotions ripple beneath the glossy surface? The hunger of a front office craving reinvention, the urgency from Steph Curry to maintain the dynasty's ferocity, and the ever-watchful Draymond Green, the team's emotional backbone, whose leadership could be the glue or the breaker in this equation. The stakes couldn't be higher, because as much as the arena roars for new legends, it remembers the scars, the Warriors who came heartbreakingly close, the dynasty moments lost to ruthless margins. Signing Seth Curry could be the story of redemption, a reclaiming of destiny through family ties and sharpshooting finesse, or the subtle signal of a team still searching for its next evolution, haunted by the unfinished business of past banners. As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this, caught between hope and uncertainty, craving that jolt of brilliance that can only come when chemistry, talent, and will converge at just the right moment. But is this the ignition point for our next title run, or the crack that splits our legacy wide open in this ever-fickle NBA landscape? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, riding this tidal wave of speculation with you. If your blood just ran cold imagining those two Currys lighting up the bay again, hit me with that wildest prediction right now. because we're not just talking about another all-season move. We're chasing the soul of a storied dynasty teetering on the razor's edge between resurrection and ruin. This Seth Curry chatter, it's more than just a roster move. It's a cosmic pulse echoing through the Chase Center walls, threatening to either restore that old, untouchable Warriors swagger or expose a vulnerability we've desperately hidden under the veneer of fading glories. Because listen, this isn't the Golden State we fell in love with 5 years ago, storming the league with that relentless rhythmic ferocity that made every game feel like a Broadway show starring Steph, Klay, and Draymond's savage, selfless chaos. No, this is a team caught in the twilight of greatness, straddling the painful moment when legacy meets the brutal truth of time. Kuminga hanging in free agency like a loaded pistol that may fire for the Warriors or boom elsewhere, moody still, chasing confidence and rhythm like a kid fighting shadows, and then throw in Seth Curry, who isn't just a guy who can shoot, but a lightning rod for tension and hope intertwined. What if Seth isn't merely the patch to our shooting woes, but a symbol that the front office isn't done chasing that Splash Brothers magic? Think about that. The younger Curry stepping into the family business becomes the unexpected spark that shatters the monotony of an aging roster ravaged by injuries and the cruel calculus of cap space. But the stakes? Off the charts. Because it reminds you just how delicate the balance is in Golden State's locker room. Steph's legacy isn't just his incredible scoring accolades or MVP trophies. It's that insatiable hunger, that meticulous perfectionism that demands more than just talent. He demands chemistry, that rare alchemy forged in sweat and sacrifice. Can Seth step into that fiery crucible without turning liquid gold into something brittle? Imagine the pressure in that meeting room right now between Dunleavy Jr. and Lacob, quiet tension thicker than smoke, knowing a wrong move could freeze the momentum completely. You think with Joe Lacob's famously patient and surgical bets, they wouldn't risk shaking the core, but Seth Curry isn't a typical gamble. He's a calculated wildfire that could either blaze through the fences or burn an already fragile mix of roles and minutes. And what about Draymond? The emotional heartbeat and sideline strategist? The guy whose voice both rallies and reboots the team? He's the glue holding this chaos, but can even his iron will adapt to adding another Curry to the fray when we all know how much weight Steph already carries both as a leader and the franchise heartbeat? It's a pressure cooker vision on one side, the intoxicating possibility of the Splash reboot, Kawhi-less, Durant-less, but maybe not Destiny-less. On the other, the piercing doubt that this is the thin edge of a wedge split in the rosters. Fragile trust, tested by brutal playoff heartbreaks and the merciless march of age and injury. Remember the 2022 finals? The painful stumbles, the missed rotations, and instead of a triumphant return, a rattled core left questioning if the dynasty could rise again on the same bones. Seth would walk into a locker room already buzzing with vulnerability, Moody still finding his shot, Kuminga's decision more unpredictable than a late-game free throw, and Wiseman's development slowed by injuries and expectations. This isn't just about finding a shooter off the bench. It's about stitching together a narrative where the past meets the future and figuring out who will step up when the spotlight burns the brightest. What if signing Seth sparks something deeper? A chain reaction where Steph's energy lifts, Draymond's defense intensifies, Jordan Poole grows wiser, and the youngsters finally unlock the consistency we pray for? Or what if, like so many moves, before, it turns out to be a shiny Band-Aid over fractures that only deepen when playoff pressure hits? The rivalry in the front office is a chess match with no second chances every contract. Every lineup tweak could either place Golden State back in the championship conversation or nudge them further into the shadows of what could have been. And then there's Steph, the greatest shooter the game has ever seen, now almost carrying a family legacy himself, adding an unpredictable X factor with his brother on the roster. Will this reunion ignite a new chapter of greatness, or simply remind us that time waits for no dynasty, not even ours? The whispers from the media, the ripples through the fan base, the quiet excitement of a bench player who can suddenly swing momentum with one catch and shoot. These are the signs that this offseason could either unshackle or shatter everything Dub Nation holds dear. As someone who's lived through every nail-biting minute of the Splash era, every buzzer beater, every gut-wrenching injury, every parade down Market Street, I can feel it down to my bones. The air is thick with both hope and danger. And whatever happens next will define this team's identity for years to come. And before you brush it off as just another veteran addition, ask yourself this: how many times in NBA history have we seen a role player step into a moment and completely redefine the course of a season? Think Derek Fisher's 0.4. Think Andre Iguodala's Finals MVP. Think Gary Payton 2 blitzing Ye Morant out of his rhythm. Seth Curry on the surface might not look like that kind of catalyst. But when the ball is zipping around in Steve Kerr's offense, and suddenly a defense has to chase a Curry not named Steph curling off a screen with sniper precision, you realize how that threat alone can shift entire game plans. You can't sag off. You can't hide your weakest defender. That tiny ripple in the spacing causes chaos, and chaos is where the Warriors have always thrived. It's the same brand of beautiful disorder that made us fall in love with 2015, the same edge that's been missing since KD left, and the bench lost its bite. This isn't about star power, it's about rhythm, about motion, about memory muscle. In a system that always rewarded high IQ and relentless movement. Seth knows that system. He grew up watching it be built. And if you close your eyes, you can already picture that one night at Chase down 5. 2 minutes left, Steph gets doubled near half court, whips it to Dre, who fires to the corner, and boom, it's Seth. Splash. Crowd explodes, bench erupts, Steph grins like it's 2016 again. That's not fantasy, it's the kind of chemistry only blood and basketball instinct can create. But the counterweight is heavy. Every second Seth is on the court, he becomes a defensive target. Can he hold up? Or do you need to surround him with Smart, Wiggins, and Draymond every time he checks in? That limits rotations, shrinks flexibility. And in playoff basketball, that margin gets razor thin. One misstep, one mismatch, and that same spark plug can be the crack in your armor. So do the Warriors risk it? Do they lean into legacy and nostalgia, trusting Kerr to build lineups that protect his weaknesses while weaponizing his strengths? Or do they play it safe, chase younger legs, bigger wings, and hope the magic can be recreated through sheer development? Because let's not forget this team is walking a financial tightrope. The second apron is more than a buzzword now. It's a brick wall that could limit moves for years. Adding Seth means subtracting someone. Who's the casualty? Is it Moody, still trying to prove he belongs? Is it a future pick the front office quietly shops to clear salary? Every move has echoes. Every roster decision ripples into next year's flexibility and the year after's title window. It's not just about today. It's about whether this roster can compete when LeBron finally fades, when the Nuggets hit their stride, when OKC grows into a monster. And Seth Curry, in all his brilliance and limitations, might be the symbol of a franchise choosing heart over math, choosing risk over reason. That's the kind of decision that wins banners. Or ends eras. So maybe this isn't just a yes or no moment for Seth Curry. It's a philosophical fork in the road. Do the Warriors double down on the core that built the dynasty, that rewrote how the game is played? Or do they try to evolve again, even if it means breaking tradition and reshaping identity? Dub Nation has always been more than a fan base, it's been a belief system. A trust in movement, in sacrifice, in the idea that joy and grit can coexist on a basketball court. And right now, that belief is being tested more than ever. So here we are, Warriors fans, staring at a name we've known forever. A jersey we can already imagine flying off the shelves, and a choice that could redefine everything. Are we ready to bet on blood, on legacy, on a Curry reunion that might just be the last great plot twist in this storied dynasty? Or are we too afraid of the heartbreak that might follow if it doesn't work? So now I want to know, what's your gut screaming? Is this Seth signing to spark the Warriors' desperately need to reclaim the throne, or just another gamble in a season that feels like walking on a knife's edge? Drop your rawest takes right here, no filters. No holding back, I'm waiting. To catch every fiery, fearless comment as we ride this wild, unpredictable wave together.